synth that's going to be under scrutiny. Okay, now this is a brand new analog synth from Behringer, and it's really nice and it's super affordable. It's not out yet. I think the RRP is going to be $299. That's not, I think, confirmed. So let me just check everything's working. Cool. Yeah, this is live. Hi, Mark. Hi, hey, John. Cosmic John in the chat room. Okay, let me just see now. If I just pop this up here, and just bear with me. Let me just move that across. Haha, yes. Hello, I'm in the little box now. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, brilliant. So some sound. I'm watching comments on YouTube, but they are like a few minutes, or not minutes, maybe a minute late. What I'm seeing, it's out of sync from what the reality is. Okay, so I've got the Behringer Neutron in front of me. This is, as I mentioned, an analog synth. It's a 2 oscillator synth. At the moment, we're just listening to Oscillator 1, which is playing Sawtooth, and I've set everything to basically what is like a default setup. So that means that, you know, I've basically set everything into a position where I can always get that back to start from, to build a new patch from a particular place. Now, in this particular case, I've got it oscillator mix panned over all the way to Oscillator 1. I've got the shape set to being the first one in the oscillator range, which is the sine wave. Filter, low pass is a multimode filter. More of that in a moment. Resonance off, mod depth and envelope depth off. Effects all off. Now, the sound flows through these effects. So, for instance, there's an overdrive. You have to have the level up because it's in its kind of default routing is flowing through that. However, on the right-hand side here, we can see this patch bay. Now, let me have a look over here. Okay. So this patch bay is quite considerable, really, for a. Let me just stop that. Set these. Okay, I'm just saying them. Right, so that patch bay is 56-point patch bay, 24 in, 32 in, 24 out. And there's lots of Eurorack style things on there, which is less familiar on the desktop format, because this synth is in the desktop format. It's got like these kind of thin wood cheeks. But you can take them off, and I have seen them mounted in Euroracks as well. So it's kind of aiming to be a bit of both, you know, desktop synth and Eurorack. Okay, so let me just cut back to. Okay, right, let's get that out of the way. Right, great, some comments. Cool. Okay, hello, Heathcliff. Right. Well, yeah, I mean, for my default, I've just set them this way. Anyone, you can choose your own default, your own starting point. But I suppose the important thing here is by having them set in this particular way, I know exactly where I am from starting. Okay, so the Neutron then. One of the best things about this Neutron is these incredible oscillators. Now, they're 3340 VCOs. Now, the 3340 is a classic. This is actually a Behringer-made clone of that chip. Okay, so slightly controversially, as Curtis, the original manufacturer, have started making them again, the 3340. That's not the ones that's in this. What's in here are Behringer's own version of that. Now, I think that allows them just a few extra subtle tweaks on there. And I don't really know much about that, but yeah, there are multiples on the patch bay, by the way. Yeah, so there are things in the patch bay like multiples, sum, and sums, and things like that, which are more akin to the Eurorack. You know, so it's we're not used to seeing stuff like that on a desktop module. So that's really interesting and sort of top marks for doing that. Okay, so the synth. Right, you can hear clicks. That's quite typical with a synth. So we'll put a little bit of attack. In fact, I found pretty much to the first of the white marks of the attack and release. Gives us enough. Sans click. Okay, cool. So obviously the sine wave, not the most interesting. Bit of portamento. Okay. What I want to show you though is how cool these oscillators are. So the 3340 VCO, you found that in loads of classic synths like the Roland SH101 and the Roland Jupiter 6. I think they were also in what else were they in? Oh yeah, Prophet 5, the Prophet 10, the Pro 1, I think actually Prophet 5 was version 3 Prophet 5. And they were in the Pro 1, of course. Oberheim XA, I think. So yeah, you know, like it's featured in very kind of significant synthesizers. So this is a very welcome return to see this this VCO chip back in production. Okay, so I'm going to just first of all just go really through all of the oscillators. Now what we can see is that the oscillators, Oscillator 1 and Oscillator 2 in the Neutron are identical. They've got the same range, the same waveforms available. They've both got pulse width controls at the bottom here. We can make a paraphonic mode, which is cool, which we'll look at that in a moment. Oscillator sync as well. And then these range buttons. So I'm going to go through the waveforms very quickly. Sawtooth. And what happens here when I move the shape, it's actually, I'm not sure how easily you'll see this, but rather than just jumping from waveform to waveform, it's actually morphing. So I'll just go through this now, through the triangle, into the sawtooth, into the square wave, and at the end there's a thing called tone mod, which we'll investigate that in a moment. But the thing is that's really notable is just how much weight there is to the sound of these VCOs. Really nice. Such a nice buzzy sawtooth. Okay. Right. Let's have some more fun with this. So this is cool. I mean, I'm going to try and keep an eye on the comments. So if you do have questions, I will try to answer them. Okay. If anyone fancies sharing this stream for me, that would be really handy. I can't quite think about how to do that at the moment, so if there's any way that could be done to sort of some of the synth groups out there, because this is going to get interesting actually. As I delve deeper into this, we can see that this has got some super features. I mean, as I say, an all analog synth for less than $300, that's one thing, but to have this, which is a very cool unique synth, then I think it's a bit special, because there's new stuff in this, including a brand new filter design. Now, this filter is designed by a certain Mr. Moffat. I can't remember his first name at the moment, so apologies there. But he has designed a new filter. His name is Moffat, and Moffat is actually, you can sort of pronounce it Moffat. That man was he was destined to have a filter of his own filter. So it is the Moffat filter, but I mean, Moffat, Moog. So, yes. Right, now, so you can hear things with this shape morphing. Oh, by the way, if you want the control of this to be to jump between waveforms, you can. You hold like the range button down for a moment, key track starts flashing, press that, let go, and then press range again. And now we've changed the behavior, so now it doesn't morph between waveforms, it jumps directly to them. and that's switchable per oscillator. So you might want that for sort of various reasons. But it's also quite interesting to hear. You're hearing the oscillators now, the different waveforms, much more independent. Now, I'm going to change the behavior back because it gives us much more options actually having that blend. I'll show you that now. So again, hold range for a moment until key track flashes, press key track, let go, and then long press again just to confirm that. Okay, so that mode is back to like the fade mode. Now I should also mention that the LFO, this controller, the LFO, works in the same way. It fades between LFO shapes, but we can change that behavior same sort of way. I hold down key sync, key track flashes, press key track, and then long press again on there, and now the LFO is jumping out to direct shapes. Yeah. Moffat, like the guy from Doctor Who. Yes, that's the same name there, but the Moffat filter. I just think it's so funny that he should be called that. Okay, I'm going to put the LFO back again as well because we want these crossfading waveforms because there is more interesting things to do. Coming to Oscillator 1 again. Like if you get that sort of blend there, it sounds almost like two oscillators. Yeah. So that's neat. Now here's something cool. I'm still just keeping with one oscillator just to show the versatility of these oscillators. Superb they are. I'll go through the range. So this is 8. Actually, I'll put a sequence in. Let's do that again. Make long gates. Okay. Okay. Question: does the resonance reduce the low end at all? Now that is always a very interesting thing. So let's have a look at that. So we'll look at this filter. As I say, it's multi-mode. It's in low pass mode at the moment, but we've got sort of band pass and high pass. And I think you can actually tap the high pass simultaneously to the low pass using the patch bay, but I haven't actually got that far yet. Okay, so here's just a sweep. Let's use a nice sawtooth here. It's got a really nice contour there. Okay, so that's a sweep. That's just a straight sweep. Let's put some resonance on. So yeah, guys, if anyone is able to share this video in any meaningful way to any of the synth groups out there, I'd really appreciate that, because I haven't got the mental capacity to do it right now. But you know, as I say, this is going to get interesting, hopefully, for you synth nutters. Now, this... Okay, ooh, hang on, jump. I'm going to go 50% resonance. I'm going to do a sweep. Oh, that's lovely. Oh yeah, so the resonance doesn't seem to lose bass at all, does it? That's lovely. Bit of filter mouth there. Great. And of course, the filter will self-oscillate. So let's do this carefully. What's the point of a self-oscillating filter if you can't key track it? Key track. Ooh, hang on, excuse me. Kind of gives you that other oscillator. It's a lot of fun. Okay, now let's see. Okay, see, it's got a nice rubberiness. Now you see, I'm still only using one oscillator. I'm doing that deliberately to show that this thing is cool. Now that oscillator, as I mentioned, has been in lots of classic synths, including the SH101. So it's got that nice, yeah. Okay, so now let's get into this pulse width business, because this is great. Okay, I'm opening the filter fully up. Taking key track off for the moment. Okay, moving into the. Okay. Now Nick Bat will love this because the pulse width on this is wonderful. It's not symmetrical either. So like up there, it's so thin it's almost, you know, useless, but you know, it's that as it starts to come in. Oh, I tell you what, I've got the attenuator up there. I'll explain that in a moment. There we go. It's a very rich. It's just an incredibly juicy pulse width. Sorry, you know, square wave with the, well, the pulse wave rather. Sorry. So yes, you can modulate that, and so this big patch bay. There is this is a semi-modular synth, so a lot of the routing is already made up already. You don't need to patch everything. Things are already kind of internally patched. Patching into here into the patch bay there will, you know, can break those connections. So for instance, an example is the LFO is routed to the filter, and I've got a mod depth control. If I turn the filter down, okay, turn the mod depth up. Let's turn this. Let's get it going faster. Okay, so we can see that the LFO sort of is routed internally. But you know, if I was to patch into the filter here, oh, you see straight away. I mean, I've broken the oh there, patch into the frequency modulation of it, and that's broken the connection. So, so with that in mind, some of the more esoteric or sort of Euro-racky kind of features, like the attenuators, for instance, the attenuator is sort of hardwired to allow the LFO to modulate the pulse width. So if we listen and turn up the attenuator, so oh, take the filter off here. Let's make it go a bit slower. So turn the attenuator down, and you're not hearing the LFO affect the pulse width. on sine wave. And it goes up. This LFO is fast. So, you know, we can think, oh, what would happen if I routed out oscillator 1 and routed that into the frequency modulation of the filter? Okay, try it. Now, I'm a bit rubbish when it comes to patching stuff with patch bays. I've been studiously avoiding the Eurorack lure, but this is definitely a gateway drug into Eurorack for people, I think, because that patch bay, it does allow for lots of stuff. Yes, we still haven't reached maximum speed. Change the LFO waveform. Okay, getting a bit nasty there. Let's come off that. Okay, obviously envelope depth for the envelope 2. Haha. It's a very funky sounding synth, and again, this is just using the one oscillator. So there's I'm still resisting temptation to bring that other one in. Oh gosh, and the stuff you can do with the two. In here though, it's a very cool, lively. Okay, let's have a look at these effects again using just oscillator 1. Well, you know, thank you everyone who's sticking with this. Hopefully you can hear and see things with enough detail. I know it's a little bit weird off to the right. I can, if I do this, I'll bring this in here. Let you have a little look at that patch bay again. And if you see any modulation routings you want me to try, please ask. I'd appreciate that. Okay. So in oscillator 2, oscillator 1 and 2, invert 1 in, so we can sort of flip a signal over. See, shape 1 and 2 refers to like the pulse width. Yes, okay. Let me come off this and come back to this. Sorry, one moment. Yes. Okay. I'm popping myself back in there. Hello. Yeah, and this thing is like $300, which is mad. It's got some pretty decent connectivity on because it's not, you know, with MIDI in. On the back there, we've got a headphone jack with its own volume control. You know, now that's quite a premium thing to have on a little mono synth with its own volume control. And also, it's got USB. I haven't played with the USB yet. I'm assuming it's just MIDI over USB. And I don't actually know what this responds to over MIDI as yet, other than pitch and modulation wheel. And actually the modulation wheel is at the moment routed out of the thing called assign, which is the bottom right output there. So that means I can, like, say, put the modulation into oscillator 1 pitch. I can't quite see the modulation wheel or this little key step. You can hear that, certainly. So assign is sending mod out that way. I've also, of my key step here, I've got a couple of CV outs coming out here, so I can set things like I can take the aftertouch and route the aftertouch into things. Let's see. I should be able to. Am I sending the wrong one? Let me just check. I might be being a fool. I'll come back to that. Just looking at messages. Cool. Again, I'm just going to repeat that thing. If anyone knows any way to share this further afield, I would appreciate that. Yeah, it's a juicy sounding synth. Okay. Oh yeah, so let's have a look here. So we've got an overdrive, drive, tone, and level. Okay. And as I say, the signal flows through it always unless you patch it out. So the level, like if I adjust the level control of the overdrive, it takes the sound off. So you have, if you are playing one of these and find the sound is off, it might well be that the overdrive level is down, and that's separate from your main volume control. I found generally from a sort of signal to noise, it's best to leave the overdrive on full and only bring that level down to compensate for the drive, because the drive adds gain. So let's have a listen. So I have to bring that down, and it's a nice sounding, analog distortion. And interestingly, it's got this tone control. So this tone control is it means you've always got a present, like a tone control right here. So different from your filter. Brighter. Darker. If I open the filter, so it's... See, if I take the drive all the way down, see the tone control is having an effect. So, something to bear in mind. That tone control, I don't think it's modulatable. Although it's, I don't know how much use you'd get out of doing that. Okay, oops. Sorry, getting a bit loud there. I'm going to pull the level right down, turn the drive 100% up. Now there's a little red clipping light now showing me that we're clipping. So let's just see. Right. So just past 12 o'clock, the clipping light isn't lighting. But let's just see what happens if we have the whole drive. Try the whole amount of drive. It sounds great. Again, we're just using the one oscillator. Okay, so I'm going to take that drive off now and put the tone in the middle. I don't know where the tone defaults to really, but I'm just using it at 12 o'clock. And then I'm going to take the level all the way back up again. Okay, cool. Make some techno. Yes, well, we could do something like that, couldn't we? So I'm going to put a sequence in. Bit of a weird one, but let's see what happens. wet, flappy. And now we've got a delay we can put on here. So the delay. Let's make a different type of sequence. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try that. Okay. Right, so delay. Let's go up an octave. Okay, so now with the time all the way off and the repeats all the way off, I'm going to take the mix up. And you can kind of hear without. It starts to sort of give it almost phasey. Let's put the repeats up. Pushing the repeats up more. Making it a bit brighter here. So the delay, having those real short delay times. Opening up the delay time up now. It's short. Let's have a look. Cool. So, you know, it's not like pristine. Actually, the longest, I'm going to set the delay time the longest. Okay. So you can hear that sort of bucket brigade kind of response. So like those repeats have so little top end in them. Let's make a lot of top end in our sound going in. Haha, look. So, you know, the sort of the darkness of the delay is, you know. So, right, okay. More repeats. It's like it's just going to start oscillating now. Right, let's see what we can do with this now. It's really dirty. Here it comes. Slow it down. Speed it up rather. Whoa. Sorry about this. Try and control the volume. So now we can modulate this time. Hang on, just bring the volume down for a moment while I do this. So I'm going to patch in one of the inputs here is delay time. Let's see. All right. Well, I'll put the LFO to it. So the LFO is going really slow. Let's speed the LFO up. Oh, this is a Nick Bat trick. LFO, square wave LFO, slow. Square wave LFO to the delay. That's quite nice, isn't it? It's got real... Taking a filter, play with a filter a little bit. We'll send the... Speed it up a little bit. Let's send envelope 2 to control that LFO rate. So out of envelope 2. I'm playing with the sustain level of envelope 2, which is just getting dirty. No, it's not a digital delay. It's a bucket brigade delay, so which it does give weird grain to it that I can understand why you might think it sounds digital, but okay, I'm going to stop that. Stop that! It's silly. Just unpatch that for a moment. Okay, and let's get that back. So, you know, learning where to set all the knobs as quick as you can to kind of get back to a default situation is really kind of crucial. Otherwise, you kind of get lost very quickly. So, right now, I've been good so far, and I haven't played with the second oscillator, but I think now is time to bring that second oscillator in. So, and as I say, it's exactly the same as Oscillator 1. You know, some synths have different waveforms available or whatever, but both of these are exactly the same. And I think, given the versatility of it, I think that's exactly what you want. Okay, so right, here we go. Let's get the level back up to a nice level. Now, I don't know quite with streaming live just how much video compression is going to be affecting the richness of the bottom end of this. Probably taking quite a bit out. I would have thought, you know, what I'm hearing, you're probably not hearing, I'm afraid. I notice that you tend to get like a distortion in the bottom end on YouTube quite easily. So this may actually sound, it may sound a lot worse on YouTube than it actually does to me. So I apologize for that. I apologize for YouTube's algorithm. Getting closer to Eurorack, don't resist. Oh. Okay, so, right. So I'm just going to set this to a sawtooth. Frequency all the way open, res off, everything off, just back to the, what I'm calling the organ envelope, well, with a slight modification to take away the clicks. Although you won't really hear those clicks on more harmonic waveforms. For instance, now look, I'll take the attack and release off. It still is there a bit, but it sounds like it's making the attack envelope really snappy. But look, as I go back now to that, you know, if you want like a pure sine, those clicks really interfere with that. Okay, sync. Yes, it's coming. Oscillator sync. So let's make things interesting. So we'll go back to a sawtooth. Okay, and I'm going to bring in oscillator 2 at exactly the same foot depth, 16, and I'll have that on the sawtooth as well. We'll listen to how they oscillate together. So the tuning. Yeah. Now, you can't control the individual levels of the oscillators like you could on, say, like a mini Moog mixer section. You know, you're kind of governed by how much of one or how much of the other. Oscillator 1, oscillator 2. And look, if I put the shape of oscillator 2 a little bit into the triangle and oscillator 1 a little bit into the square, put the tuning back together again. Do the envelopes always play from 0? I think so, yeah, because but I think I was clocking, I was kind of setting something to loop the envelope. I'll look at that in a moment. Yeah, so 2 oscillators. Let's take this one up an octave. Let's see, for a monosynth. Yeah, so last note priority. Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, and they say paraphonic. So paraphonic. Yeah, so I'm playing, first press is playing oscillator 1. Second press is playing oscillator 2. So that's always a cool feature to have. And I have to say, I'm sure that the Erebus, this is a synth I've got up here in front, has been a little bit of an inspiration for the Neutron. I haven't seen that written down anywhere, but there's a few similarities to it. Let me show you. So let me just get this up, and we'll go like this. Boom. Okay, so the Erebus, right? Actually the knob types are the same. I mean, that is probably because they are fairly generic knobs, but I love these type of knobs. They're my favorite types, I think. And they're the same as we see on the Dreadbox Abyss as well. But looking at the arrangement of the oscillators, you see, on the Abyss, and you can, on the Erebus, and you can see that the oscillator tuning knobs and the mix, this the oscillator tuning knobs and the mix. You know, so there's some similarities. The error bus also has that. It has a similar kind of delay there, time feed and mix. You know, sort of. It doesn't say feed on this one. It says repeats, but same difference. Yeah, and also this is a 12 dB filter, and this is a 12 dB filter, but the difference being the Neutron is a multi-mode filter, so you know it has a little bit more to it, but not to dismiss the gloriousness of the Erebus filter though, because that is a beauty. Yeah, sorry about wobbly camera work there. Okay, I'm going to come out of paraphonic and I'm going to do what was asked a while ago. I'm afraid it's taken me a while to get here. Oscillator sync. Okay, so let's two sawtooth waves. How long have I been doing this? 47 minutes. I'm probably going to go along about an hour, I think. And then, yeah. So any questions, please ask. I'll try my best to see them, answer them. Okay, oscillator sync. So now, a nice tearing sound that you get. Now let's get some pulse width. And I'll get the pulse width modulating. Let's get that smoother modulation. It's a bit slower. How nice is this? This is a glorious synth. So let's get some LFO action onto the Oscillator 2. So we'll come out of LFO into Oscillator 2. This will do some crazy stuff. Oh yeah, key sync on the LFO is cool, so it always starts the LFO from the same place. As opposed to it just being cool. So yeah, I mean, I think you're getting the gist of this now. That it's like the raw components of this synthesizer, i.e., those 3340 oscillators, the Moffat filter, and you know, analog delay, analog overdrive. You know, those things. You know, irrespective of this patch bay, give the synthesizer super kind of, you know, building blocks. The fact then that the patch bay offers, you know, limitless potential means that the synth has got, you know, you can grow a long way with this synth. And, you know, I think it's a brilliant synth to learn synthesis on because there's enough options to be able to take you quite far with it. But also it's a great synth to integrate with whatever you've got, whatever else you've got, whether it's Eurorack, whether it's desktop systems. I love the way that it is kind of designed to fit into, you know, any kind of any setup really. Okay, so I'm going to end pretty soon. How long have I got? Yeah, I'm going for a few more minutes. yeah, I wasn't going to get too much into the patch bay. I mean, I'm still learning myself. I'm not that kind of so comfortable with patching. With you know, I tend to only do very basic stuff. But you know, if there's any theme from Crystal Dips with Alistair, yeah, let's have a look. Oh yeah, we haven't played with the different filter types, so okay, let's go into the high pass mode. Let's set up envelope depth. Hang on, bear with me. Trying to get rid of the fatness, just okay, so okay, let's get some delay and stuff with all the thin sounds. Arpeggiator. Okay, let's start playing with this now. VCA bias. So this kind of, I'm not entirely sure what this is doing, but it seems to overload. Okay. Put the resonance up. So, hang on, let's get to the band pass. Ooh, hang on. Oh yeah, we've got noise as well on here, which is always cool. Let's just put some again, little sequence. Short gates. Okay, that's cool. Slow LFO to modulate the filter. The noise down a little bit. Speed it up a little bit more. Make the gate time a bit longer. Okay. Get back to low pass. Okay, I think I'm just about to wrap up now. And off. Don't know where that's still coming from. Don't know if I got given it a dead MIDI note. Okay. Well, thank you everybody who's stuck with this and watched this. I've really enjoyed this. I've been trying to get the technical stuff right, so hopefully the sound was okay, the balance of the voice and the synth, and I know it's a bit difficult to see what's going on all the time. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much, as I say, everybody, for watching. I'm going to try doing it again, I think. It's been getting all the cameras and stuff working has been something. So now hopefully they're working. I'll do this again. Ooh, bonk. Thank you for watching. Hope you're all going to have a nice day, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are in the world. We've got quite cold weather in Britain at the moment. The beast from the east, it's called. It's like some Siberian weather front that's kind of been sweeping the country. But in Bristol, where I live, it's not been too bad, really. A lot of the other parts of the country have been getting lots of snow. Anyway, this is digression. Thanks again.